Okay, so hello everyone. So I hope that you know what is the section is about. Like it is going to be the continuous section of the previous class. Like we have previous week. That in previous week we have completed the basics, and then we have completed what the basics, really basics about the DOMs and all. We have really completed that. So right now, what we're going to see, right? We're going to see about the advanced, like some concepts that or need to be known. So why these concepts are so important when you want to learn a library in JavaScript like React, or you want to learn some any frameworks like Angular, Vue, something like that. So these topics are really going to be helpful for that. So in that previous weeks that we have discussed that, and also in the last boot camp, 3 hours boot camp, also I have given detailed explanation about the JavaScript at all. So in the detailed explanation I said a thing like JavaScript is going to be anything. Like JavaScript is a single threaded, but it is fast, but it can be used as an asynchronous. It is a interpreted, it is a compiler, it can be both like that. So it has its phase on everything. So it has its own view, right? So we have different ideology for JavaScript. We have different for that. So these concepts makes JavaScript much more powerful. Okay, so that is what the power of JavaScript. So coming as a scripting language, then it is used as one of the most fastest backend language. So like that. So then afterwards, what happens? It is going to be the most easiest way to create a front end. Like that, it's do so much things, right? So these topics are going to be important when we are working with some high built JavaScripts applications. This is going to be the part of it. So right now the beginner sections we have discussed about the loops, conditions. Yeah, it's going to be useful, but whatever the programming language you use, it's going to be there. Okay, so even you use some other programming languages, it's going to be there. But something that needs JavaScript to stand out from a crowd, so those concepts are little bit we need to see, right? So that concepts are we going to see. Okay, so starting day one, to do this workshop for days. So going to be today and tomorrow, and Wednesday it's not going to be that, and Thursday and we're going to have. Okay, so we're going to have 4 days. Okay, so for 4 days, those people who attend regularly, we will send you an attendance form. So if you fill that, like the same, if you fill that, you will get the certificate for the participation, and also we will promote it in the LinkedIn. Okay, so then your profile, if you give the valid LinkedIn, then your profile get reached to more people. Okay, so that is actually what I would need to say. So focus on the networks too. So to get an easy to become a freelancer, so the networks is also very important. So that is also we can do. So because we know the worth of certificate is good, yeah, the skill certificate is going to be nothing, right? So why we are giving certificates to encourage you, and we promote it in public. The reason is that your profile is get visioned, like you are a TWT student, and if sir the founder will WWS was post it, then it will reach us to maximum people, and your profile will get reached. Okay, so that is why we are saying, like, if you get that, just promote it in LinkedIn to get you more reach. Okay, so that is from my side. Okay, so these all are the essential things that you need to do be successful. Just use the social media platform as you want. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to start our section. Like, so I welcome you all. Like, if you have any like any screen error, like anything that technical issues having, just give a comment. I will come and watch. Right now I think no error is there, so because no people is telling nothing. Okay, so hello all, hello everyone. Okay, so we just get started with the topics. So for that, I think hope you know, like, if you watch the previous video, I'm using an online compiler, like that is going to be the JS bin. Okay, if you want to use the Visual Studio Code, that is going to be fine. So I will highly recommend go and use the Visual Studio Code compared to JS bin. So why I'm using JS bin, because it is easy way to teach. Okay, so I can give the way to teach. I can use the console and the editor in an online, like I can able to erase it everything. That is the only reason, instead of doing the comments and all. So if you want to work on this, you can do that. Okay, so hi everyone. For all everyone, hi. Okay, so what we going to do, we're going to see about all the ES6 classes. Okay, so that is what JavaScript advanced features, that is what we in today's classes, and tomorrow we're going to cover different. Okay, so we're going to see about all the important ES6 classes, and that is more than enough to get started with JavaScript libraries and JavaScript frameworks. Like if you want to be a React, if you want to work with Angular, if you want to work with Vue, you need this advanced concepts. So that is what we're going to see. Okay, yeah, so the agenda is going to be, I think it's in the description itself. So what is the agenda is going to be? So first we're going to cover the ES6, and then we're going to see about closes and hoisting, and then after that we're going to see about what is yeah, today is going to be the first day. Like previously we have beginner videos. Like if you have the beginner video, you can watch that. That is my recommendation, like the last week. Okay, so after hoisting, we're going to see about what is closure and immediate evoking function, and async await, I think it's also included. And after that we're going to see about prototypes and inheritance. So that is, I think it is going to be the end of the class. Okay, so JavaScript classes is going to be today. JavaScript, you mean classes? This is the class, but JavaScript class right now I'm going to teach. So that is what our first topic, it's going to be JavaScript classes. Okay, so we're going to discuss that. Okay, so this is going to be the agenda. Maybe you find that agenda in the description of this video, you will get that. Okay, so that's it. So if you are new here, like the same agenda, fill the form. Yeah, it's going to be 8:30 every day. Okay, so just fill the certificate form. Not for getting certificate, we will provide certificate, that's fine, but we are giving those certificate because we need to promote your LinkedIn profile. Okay, so that is the why we are giving mainly the certificates. Okay, so use your LinkedIn platform as like that. Okay, okay. Me too. Okay, so let's get started. So the first topic towards ES6. Okay, so first I will just say what is going to be ES6. Those people who don't know, like JS bin is nothing but it is going to be the like an online compiler. Like I can able to code whatever the code I want to do in JavaScript, and this is going to be the console place. Like if you click it and you just inspect it, you can see here we have some consoles, right? So the console, what is the use of this console? Like if you want to get the code, we need to debug, right? We can use this debug. Okay, so there is going to be the console place. So instead of using that console, I'm going to use the JS bin console. Okay, so here it also do the same thing. For example, I just say console.log. I hope my screen is also visible. Okay, so I just simply say the universal welcome for the programming language, hello world, and I just click the run. You can notice that it will same work like an console. Okay, so if I click inspect, and you can see here, we can refresh it. Mm, okay, so this don't never mind of this console, it is doing some error for JS bin. I think the JS bin getting errors and all. Okay, so we don't want to use this console. Okay, so if I use the same console log also, it's going to be display here. So that is what I just going to use. Okay, so this is going to be the console. Okay, so the what is going to be ES6. Now come to the topic, what is going to be the ES6. So first understand what is ES. So ES is JavaScript, a kind of, yes, JavaScript. Form link will be provided a little bit later. Okay, so that is an auto-generated form, it will be provided later. Okay, so fine. So this ES6 is nothing but the expand form is ECMAScript. And what is mean by 6? So it is going to be representing the version of it. So what is mean by ECMAScript? So it is JavaScript, yes. A kind of, yes. Why I'm saying the kind of, ECMAScript is not a JavaScript. ECMAScript is a standard, that is the rules and regulation for building JavaScript. Like if you attended my previous workshop, not only workshop like the 3 hours, I will explain what is ECMAScript, and why it is introduced for ECMAScript and all. So I will tell once again, like ECMAScript is going to be the standard. For example, I'm going to a college, like we are going to a college. So the college has several rules and regulations, right? So we need to come with these dress codes, and we need to maintain this characters behaviors in this campus, and we need to do that. The Monday it's going to be this routine, Friday it's going to be that routine. Like that, we have some rules and regulation for college, right? The same like that, ECMAScript is nothing but, so each and every browser has its own engine. Okay, so that engine is responsible for converting the JavaScript file into browser understandable code. Okay, which means the machine understandable code. Okay, so whatever the code we are returned in JavaScript, it is taken by the browser. Like for example, Chrome. Send the Chrome has its own engine. That engine converts the code into a browser understandable code. Then the browser, what it will do, it will just convert it. For example, if you click this, you need to do that. If you write that, you need to do that, like that. Okay, so that is what the engine does. So then what is ECMAScript? Let us just imagine like we have an engine for each and every browser that is developed by each and different developers. Okay, so we going to give the same code. For example, if I write a JavaScript code for an web, I'm not only writing and code for Chrome browser, I'm also writing the code for Safari. I'm also going to write the code for Mozilla Firefox. I'm also going to write the code for Brave. Like I'm writing a single JavaScript file, but it need to run correctly in every browser, right? It need to run correctly in the every browser, which means like it, all the browser has the same engine. But here what we have, every browser has its different engine. Like how can we convert, like how can we check this? We can say JavaScript engine. You can notice that we have so much of engines. Like you have Wikipedia here. So if I type JavaScript engine, like you can see for Chrome browser we have V8. Like you can see the first modern JavaScript engine was V8. It is created by Google. So if you are using the Chrome browser, then we going to what is the engine we going to have? We're going to have the V8, and this is going to be one of the fastest engine for JavaScript. Okay, and we have the other browsers like Apple. We have Nitro engine, like Safari to run JavaScript code in Safari, and we have Mozilla Firefox is there, and this is going to be the Spider Monkey engine. Like that, each and every browser has different engine. So if I give the same code, if I give a single file, JavaScript file, it happens like if it is built by different developers, like it may some variance there. Like so if I give the same code in Google Chrome, it will runs differently. In Mozilla Firefox, it will runs differently. It will not uh, it is a big huge fault, right? So why I'm saying that, because we are not here to run code for every browsers. We are here to run for application. We are here to build an application, not for every browsers, right? So if I write a code, that should be run exactly what I write for Chrome, it should be run for Mozilla Firefox, it should be run for everything. But here we have a problem that each and every browser has its own engine, it has its own developer team, so it kind of like different way of running is different, right? So that is the thing. Hi, like that is the thing. So here comes a person who gets in charge of it, the European council, I think. So that is called as ECMAScript. So ECMAScript is a rules and regulations that by using the rules and regulations only, JavaScript gets updated. Okay, so by using that only, JavaScript gets updated, which means all the browsers like Google, like Mozilla Firefox, Safari, whatever the browsers are available till now, everyone has to come under those rules, like has to come under the standardization. So then what they can do, even though they have different engine, they follow the same standardization, which means if I write a single JavaScript file, that's going to be run in Google Chrome, same like it's going to be run in the Mozilla Firefox and other browsers. Okay, so this ECMAScript is going to be the standard that gives the rules and regulations. These are the rules and regulations only, these browsers gets be updated. Okay, so that is what that is where like I'm writing and single code that is going to be used in everywhere. Okay, so if you don't understand like what is JavaScript, how it talks with the browsers and all, then just watch the Saturday's boot camp. It is going to be, I think, 45 minutes. I only take the theoretical class and it will be clear for you. Okay, so fine. So the next what we're going to do, like, this is going to be the ECMAScript. It is going to have the standard for that. So if I say standard for that, then what is the meaning of that? It is going to be the version. Like, every programming language has its updation. The same like that, JavaScript also has its updation. So why we are specifically taking ES6? Is there no updation happened after ES6? The answer is no. We have even we have ES8, ES9, ES10, like that. We have so much of updation, but ES6 is maximum. Like, if you learn ES6, you can able to survive in the digital world maximum. And all the ES6, ES10, like everything, it is like an extra little bit minor updation happens. That's what. Okay. Okay. So first in ES6, what we need, first we need to see why to learn, because it's going to be very helpful when you learn, especially for React. But not only this, if you want to go for any other frameworks and library, it is going to be very helpful. Okay, so in this only we're going to see first one, that is going to be classes. Okay, so the first topic is going to be the classes. Okay, for classes we have something called as functional constructor. This functional constructor do, what does this functional constructor do means, it just use it to create an object. Okay, so now don't focus on functional constructor. Right now we have classes. Okay, so what we're going to see about what is classes, that is very important. So that's what is classes means. It's just like a blueprint. Just remember this keyword, it is going to be the blueprint. So if I say blueprint, what is mean by the exact meaning in English? Like, blueprint is something, and sketch, like by using that we can able to create same like that sketch, right? So before creating a building, what we do, we create a sketch based on base how it's going to be like. So that is going to be the blueprint, and that is what we're going to exactly do. So it is going to be a blueprint for objects. So if I say like blueprint for object, then what it's going to be? So for creating object we can use this. So this is one of the method to create an object. Okay, so the same like initially we have functions to create that, now we use classes to create that. Okay, so initially we have something like function construction, we use the function and we need to give something and we need to do so much of things and do that. So right now we have the new feature, by using the classes we can build that. So before that we need to know what is object. So I think you know what is object, right? So because it is everything is covered in the beginner section itself. So what is going to be an object? So object is going to be a reference data type. First of all, it is going to be the reference data type. It can able to store more than one value, and also everything in Java is going to be an object. Okay, so that is different. Like, it is going to be a reference data type, and it's going to have store than more than one value. So right now we get, for example, I just going to create an call. Okay, so this is going to be my object. So this is going to be the syntax, and here I just use some examples. For example, I just going to say brand. Okay, so I can say OD like this, and here we can give model, and I think you know that what is properties, what is method, blah blah things. Everything has been already taken. So 2022. Okay, like this. Okay, so this is going to be the object. Yeah, let us consider like you have something like 5 to 6 properties there, and one method is there like that. So this is going to be the core one. Okay, what if I need to use the same syntax? Like, for example, I need to write the same brand and model for some other cause. What can I do? So if I want to create the same object with the same pattern, we can say same blueprint. Like, what I need to do, I need to just change this car to, and here we need to give whatever the information, like if it's going to be the bench and it is going to be the 2022, like that. Okay, just consider you have an object, so you need to use the same syntax, like you don't change any band model like that. You don't change, like it's going to this object is going to have 10 to 12 properties like that. So by using the 10 to properties, if you want to recreate another object, instead of copy and paste, is there any great way? That is going to be the construction function and classes. Okay, so by creating classes, we can able to create more objects by using that blueprint. Okay, so that is what we're going to see. So why it is necessary? Because just imagine, like we're going to have an object, means it's going to have a huge data. If I want to recreate it for like more than a time, then instead of copy and pasting, creating a class, creating a common class for it, creating a blueprint for it, and everyone who use this blueprint, he can able to create exactly same object. Okay, so that is going to be the more convenient way for creating an object. So that is what we're going to see. Okay, and also it will helps when you want to create more objects with a reference of one, then it's going to be very helpful. Okay, so that is why we're going to see. Okay. Okay, so the next, so instead of creating like this, what we do, we're going to use the classes. So for creating, by using classes, you need to use the keyword class. And notice that if you want to use the core, you need to give, like for classes or construction function, it is going to be caps. Okay, it is going to be caps, just remember that. And I just going to say core, and here I just open the curly braces, and inside this, so what I say, if I use the classes, means it is going to be the blueprint. So right now what I'm doing, I'm going to creating the blueprint for creating a number of objects. Okay, so this is going to be the blueprint. So in my blueprint, what are the things that inside an object, right? So inside an object, we have property, right? We have property, and we have one more thing, that is going to be the method. Okay, so right now we see how to create the blueprint that is useful for this property. Okay, so this what I'm going to do. Okay, for this what I'm going to do, you need to use a default method called construction. Make sure with the spelling. Okay, most of the time constructor. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to be the constructor function. So inside this, by using this constructor function, we can able to create the property. Okay, for like create the blueprint. For example, here if you want to pause and property, then here can just consider this going to be the normal function that is defaultly built in the JavaScript. So inside that we can give some parameters. If I say name, and this name is going to be the property. How can I use this as a property? For example, I can use this dot name equal to, I want this name like this, and I save this. And now you have a doubt, like what this statement is, right? So we have this, what is this, what is name, what you did, right? So that is the doubt, right? So let me discuss. For example, just consider this is going to be the blueprint. So by using the blueprint, I'm going to create an object. Is it possible? Yeah, let's try it out. So what I'm going to do, I just say const, instead of car, I just say car1. It is going to be a variable. I just use this equal to sign, and I just give new. So this new, it's going to be say that I'm just going to use an object, like classes is also going to be an object. That is what we're going to see. And if I want to use which blueprint, this core blueprint. Okay, so I just use the core. Okay, and just give a bracket. Okay, inside the bracket, you need to pause this argument. Okay, for example, what I'm going to pause here, I just going to pause the name TWD like this. Okay, what we can say, console.log car1. And if I run this, you can see an object is created. Don't consider this object. It is something weird that shows in JS bin. If I go for the console, you can see a core object is created. That is what we have, console log, and inside this name is created, right? So it creates an object, right? So which means like how we created manually later. So that is how it's created object, right? So how it is work? For example, here clearly you can identify that I'm using the blueprint. Which blueprint? This is going to be the blueprint. This is going to be the class function. So if I pass this argument, so then what happens? It is taken inside the construction function as an inside this parameter, and this it's going to be have only one parameter right now. So then if I pass one parameter, it will take it. So even if it has more than one parameter, you can give command, you can give that, and you can pass the number of value, and it also creates a value. For example, we can give age, and we can give age. Okay, so instead of sorry, here we need to pass the value. I just going to say 22. Okay, like this I just say 22. But notice that this name is something used inside this constructor function, but the age is not used, right? So if I just say dot name, then you can notice that the name is fetched and it will be written twd. If I say age, then you can notice that it's going to be undefined. So it is saying that nothing is inside in the name of age. Nothing is inside. So what this dot name age will do? So this keyword, it has a vast and more confusing operation when we work with this, but it is going to be very easy when you understand it. Okay, so there is a separate classes is going for this. Okay, so right now just understand what this represents. Okay, so this doesn't have any meaning, so it just represents something. Okay, right now it is inside this class. Okay, so what this represent means, here this represent means it represents the one who calls that classes. Okay, so here who calls that classes, like who evoked this class, like who operate this classes, going to be car1, right? So here it represent car1. Simply you can replace this with car1. Okay, so why here we instead of car1 we give the this? Because this is not only the object we're going to create, we're going to create more than an object, right? So every time we create an object, it is need to change automatically, right? So that is why we use this keyword here. So here it represent this, right now it represent this car1, because that is what it is evoked, right? So that is what the object is get called. So who get calls, that is what this represents. So here what I did, if someone calls this, who what is this, what it's going to do, it's going to evoke represent who it's revoking. So here car1 is evoking. So car1 dot name, if someone calls car1 dot name, the name, who's the name? So the parameter we have, so that is the name, right? So why we have this undefined? Because we don't say to the blueprint, like if someone calls the age, return the age that you get outside. So what we need to do, we need to say this. So we need to use this. So this doesn't represent anything here. It's going to represent when someone calls it. So here the car1 is evoked. So that is why it is going to be the this representing this. Okay. So and here you need to say what you need to call. Like someone calls this is going to be age, then you need to pass this value as an argument. Okay, so that's it. So now if I run this code, you can notice that value get passed. Okay, so this is way to create and property. So right now if I say instead of age, you can just I console log the code, you can notice an object is created and it has an age and it has a name, right? So what is the use of creating a blueprint? I say, so it is easily takenable, like easily we can create more objects by using that. For example, if I want to create another car, what can I do? I can change the name and I can change the value. Instead of asking the brand name, age, writing that, we can use like we can just say car2, and here we can say like Audi, and here we can give this as 2022, something like this. Right now if I run this, instead of one, I just run the car. 2, you can notice the same object. The object is created by using the same blueprint. So if I create a blueprint, I can able to create whatever the how many object I want. That doesn't care. We can able to create with a single line. Okay, so it will just reduces the error of code. Okay, so it will going to reduces everything. Okay, so that is going to be the classes. And what if I want to create a method? For example, what is a method? So a function inside an object is going to be a method. For example, constructor, it is going to be a method, right? So the same like that, how can I create a method? For example, right now I need to create a method. So that method want to display my car and my the age of the car in a sentence. How can I do that? For example, here you can directly assign it and you can just say like this. How can we do that? Means I can say details. Okay, this is going to be my method name, and here you can just open it and just you can close it. Okay, so here we can do whatever, like this is going to be a function. So here we can say return if someone calls it. If someone calls this detail, then what you need to do? You need to return I I have a core. I have uh, and what we can say, like we need to use that, right? So what we need to use, we need to take that dynamically. So I just going to say like this dot name, and here I can say like and it's going to be the string. So and I just say and the age is going to be like this. And what we can say, we can call for the age, this dot age. Okay, something like this. Okay, so right now what we can do, just console log the car. You can notice nothing inside. Instead of using the JS bin, I go for here, and you can use the console is here. Right now what we do, we created an car too, right? Inside that we have created a method, right? So I just go here and I just look into that method. You can notice that that method is not available. So inside that you can see something called as prototype. Just leave that, and if I click that, you can notice that inside this prototype you can see that detail is available, right? So this detail is going to be available, and now I can able to access it. How can I access it? So we can simply say core2 dot details. If I save this and I just clear this, run this, and you can see I have an Audi and the age is going to be 2022. So instead of car 2, I just say car 1 and I just run, and you can see I have TWD. That is going to be weird when it's come to cost. Fine. And the age is going to be 22, right? So what here it happens. So when I create an method, so all the this constructor is also going to be a method. Like JavaScript, everything is created by object. So this classes, what is the work of the classes? To create more object. So that is going to be not represented by the JavaScript. So right now I created an object in the name of car1, that is not represented in defaultly, right? We only created it the same like that. So these all are manually we created that, but these classes, cores, functions, loops, and that codes are created by the developers of JavaScript, right? So the how that are created, that's also created by objects only. Okay, so fine. So class.core, it's going to have a constructor method. And what is the purpose of the constructor method? If someone's use this constructor method and with the right syntax, you need to change that to an object. Okay, so that is the program written in JavaScript. And here if I give an manual method, then what happened? Instead of this is going to be the object. Okay, so the class is going to be an object, and that's going to have some prototype. So what is a prototype? Prototype is like uh the way how it's built. The way is like if I create a product and this is going to be my prototype, means it is going to be work like that, right? The same like that. In the why it is not displayed inside the classes, it is displayed inside the prototype, because we are pause the function in the prototype itself. So whenever every every object is created by using this classes, and the prototype will be same there. Okay, it's going to be there only, and we can use it. Okay, so that is how it's also work. Okay, so basically, what is the use of classes is used is like a blueprint. By using the classes, we can able to create a number of classes and we can use it. Okay, so that is another topic is also here, that is going to be the inheritance of classes. That is also we going to see. For example, what is the use of classes? We see that it's need to create more a number of objects, that we need to do that. What if I want to create a blueprint? Remember that I don't want to create an object. I want to create a blueprint that has everything inside the core, but a little bit in order and add-on also we need to add. How can I do that? So here it comes an inheritance concept. The simply like the same blueprint, I am going to use it for another blueprint, but also I'm going to add some other extra functions too. How can I do that? That is what we're going to see. For example, now I have this classes is going to be the blueprint, and by using this blueprint, I'm going to create another blueprint. Okay, so that is what we're going to see. So for that, I just going to say class, and here I just going to say, can say, like instead of car we can say bike. Okay, so just for funny. Okay, so I just use the curly braces. Inside this, every syntax is same. Constructor, it's going to be constructor, and open the curly braces, and inside the constructor function we going to pass whatever we going to take. So that is what we're going to say. So this is for creating a normal object. So for creating like an inheritance, which means I want to use the same classes with some add-ons. So how can I do that? So the same thing you need to do. So here you need to call the bike, and here you need to use a word extends. Okay, so what this extends is going to say, the name itself, what is mean by extend is going to be the extension of something, right? So for something, which thing, this is going to be here car. Okay, so if I say car, now what happened, whatever the property what I'm going to create and blueprint, that blueprint is exactly what the car this blueprint car blueprint have, but also I'm going to add some other extents. Okay, so that is what. So I just going to create a bike, and in that bike is going to be the extension of this car blueprint. Okay, so that's it. Then here you can mention whatever you need. For example, I need name, I need age, and I just go add some more, right? For example, I just what I going to, so instead of age, name, age, I just going to say a boolean value is registered. Okay, register. So this is going to contain a boolean value. So right now I just create a constructor method to create to create a property. Now you have name and age, and you can notice that right now we are using the same blueprint. So what is the meaning of this? Like whatever the code returned here, we going to repeat it, but we have name and age. So for that we need to do this dot name, this dot age. Whether we need to repeat it? No, the answer is no. So right now we are extending it, right? We are extending the bike classes from the car classes, so we can access it. How can I access it? So inside the constructor function we can use something called as super method. What the super will do, the super, if I use the super method, we can access all the method and all the properties inside the parent blueprint. So this is going to be the parent blueprint. So right now, what are the things I need? I need the name and I need the age. So I can just call the name and age. So I don't want to write this dot name and this dot age. So only for what I need to write the newly created one. So this is not inside the parent. So we need to do that. Okay. So here we can use this dot register registered equal to whatever the boolean value they are passing. So here we can copy and paste it. Okay, so this name and age, we don't pass anything like this dot registered, something like that. Why? Because it is already in the parent, so we can able to access that by using the super method. We can able to access the properties and method inside the parent method. Okay, so that is the thing. Okay, so what is mean by what is prototype? Like, we're going to see very letter of the classes. So just right now you need to remember like what is prototype. Prototype is the way that JavaScript is created. Like, for example, you need to create an product, you need a prototype, right? So for example, how Tony Stark built Jarvis. Like, so if you notice that in Iron Man's like the parts like Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, he say like the age of Ultrons, he say like, I changed the prototype of an Jarvis and I created the Ultron, right? So what is that means? Prototype is nothing but it is JavaScript. Like, how we need to create a product, we need a prototype. Prototype is the step by step process, or we can say like, that is how, like, how it is the functions loops are created. So they are created using some prototypes, right? So that is actually prototypes is the way of creating. That is what prototypes. Okay, so right now I'm using object. So if I using a method like super or something like that, there is a prototype behind that. So by using the prototype only, it behaves like that. For example, if I say console.log, what it will do, it will just send whatever I'm giving inside the console.log, it will send to the console. How it is working? Because it has some prototype. So that prototype is the code we have written, right? The same like this. If I pause the method, okay, so it is go and attach to the classes prototype, okay, in the prototype itself. So whenever they uses, it will be used instead of creating a function. If I create a function, then what will happen? It will store like a variable in a browser. But right now, if I create a method in classes, what it will do? It will store in the prototype of prototype of that particular method defaultly created. Okay, so manual creation is different. Whatever the object we are creating, it is manual. Like, we have the default JavaScript methods, like two uppercase for string, two lowercase for string. They are already there, like represented by JavaScript. Okay, everything has its own prototype. Okay, so that's it. Okay, prototype, we're going to even we're going to see a little bit depth also in this 4-day series. Okay, so right now just understand it is like, that is how by using the prototype only JavaScript is created. Just remember that. Okay, JavaScript, all the methods and all, remember. Okay, fine. So what I did, I say, if you can use the super, then what it's going to be, it's going to have access for all the methods and construction, the parent element. Remember that. Okay, so we can use that instead of writing everything like this dot name, this dot age. Don't want that. Okay, so after that, what I going to do, instead of creating a method, I just leave it simple. And what I going to do, I just say const bike one. I just give, and you can use the new, and you can use the bike, and here you can pause the parameters, like what is the name of the bike. It's going to be, I can say Duke, not Fuke, it's going to be Duke. Okay, and it's going to be 2022, and here it is registered. I just going to say true. And right now we can call the console.log. I can say bike one. Okay, so if I just save and I run this, you can notice that everything is created, and you can see the age 22 and name Duke is created. So that is the reason we are using super. So if I don't use the super, okay, if I don't use the superb and like this, means you can notice that it's going to throw an error. Like, why? It means must call super constructor in derived classes before accessing this, which means you need to call super function in inheritance to access the derived functions, to access already derived in the parents. Okay, before accessing this. Okay, so before accessing this, you need to call that. So you can notice that if I say superb and I leave empty, this is going to be valid. But the thing is here, like you can see, age is going to be undefined, and name it's going to be undefined. So why it is do, because if I use a super, I can have access to the name and age, but I need to pass the type, right? Why need to pass the value to it? How can I do that? I need to pass the parameter. So you need to make sure the order. For example, instead of name age, if I give age and name, then you can notice that it will swipe. Okay, so now here the order is very important. Here first it's going to be name, then you need to pass the name. Okay, so then if you pass the age, then it's going to be pass the age. Okay, like how you get conscious when you passing an argument, the same like that here also you need to get conscious. Okay, so and also not only this, right now you see like how it is get inherited. Okay, but not only this, you can notice that if I say console.log and go for here, you can see that detail inside the prototype. The prototype is that built this object. Okay, like the class prototype. If I click this prototype, you can see a construction function with class bike. So what this prototype is going to have, so this class has a prototype. Okay, so the class has a prototype. By using that prototype only, we created this bike prototype. So that is why it's have inside it. So inside that you can see like there is another object is that if I click this, you can notice that the detail method is also available. So by using the super keyword, we have both access to the properties also available and also have access to the method also available. So if I use bike one dot, you can notice no method other than constructor are available, but here I can use this detail. I use bike one dot detail like this, you can notice that it will be run without any error. Like I have a Duke and the age is going to be 2022, like that. Okay, so we can able to access everything from the parent element. So what if I want to pause and another thing, then what it's going to be inside this prototype, this going to be there, and inside this prototype this going to be there, and inside that and another prototype is going to be there. That is going, if I say present and I created return a congrats. Okay, if I say and if I run this and if I'm going to have a bike, like we're going to have a bike, and inside the prototype we're going to have the details is there. Okay, so okay, so instead of details I need to pass the bike one. If I run this, you can see is registered and this is only showing. So what we're going to do, we're just going to open this and you can see this is going to be how it's created, and inside this you can see this inside this car we have two things. One is going to be bike and this is going to be the present. Okay, so now we can able to access to the present too, and inside this bike, not inside this bike, inside this you have access to the details. So likewise we can use the inheritance. So basically what is going to be the inheritance? Okay, wait a minute, I will explain. Like what will be the inheritance is going to be like the people say like you are looking like your father, you are looking like your mother, right? So that is what inheritance. So we can, there is some similarities is there, right? The same like this, whatever the properties and method we have, we can able to access it. So we only want name, fine, you can able to take only name. Similarities, same, some similarities, whatever we need we can our parent. So that is going to be the inheritance. Okay, so this is with the class. So for class the conclusion is, if you want to create more objects without any stress and without any else, just create a blueprint. By using the blueprint, just duplicate that object and it's going to be an easy way. Even you want to create 100 object, fine, you can create a blueprint. You can create a blueprint only once and you need to worry about creating an object. That's it. Second, if you want to inherit, like for example in any case, like if you want to use the same blueprint but with some added addition, some added methods and lesser method that you can use that inheritance to work on it, and you can create whatever the object you want to create. Okay, so which one is better, minister developer, web3, full stack developer with Python? Okay. Okay, so I think our founder will be give the reply for that. So Metastack developer is going to be, if you are starting your career, I can say like Metastack is, it's going to be always right now the more job openings are available for Metastack developer. You can go with that. And Web3, we cannot say that it is going to be like, we cannot 100% say that is it is going to be the future. Like even though it is going to have some things, but it is overhyped. Okay, so because we are not able to predict that, right? Whatever we want, like whatever the things is going to be happen, we are not able to predict. Even if it's going to be a failure, it's going to be a failure only. Okay, so but what is the base if you want to create a web3? Like what is the base is going to be? The base is going to be, it's going to be development, right? So if you know JavaScript, then it's going to be Metastack developer. Use web3 by using libraries, you can able to do that. And I don't say like web3 is going to it's going to be the future for it. Yeah, no one is assured that, right? So because we can know that how the crypto is working, right? So and not only the crypto is going to be only the web3, it is also some of the features is available. But if you want to start your career with that, then it's going good to go with Marine Stack developer. Okay, and full stack development with Python and Django, there is no use. Simply say sorry for that. Okay, there is no use. Python is very good, but it's good for something like the data driven process. I cannot say like Python is very good for development process. I cannot say that, but we can use that. But the compared to Marine Stack, no. Okay, so that is my answer. And web3, it's not predictable, it's up to you. Like if you want to take web3, fine, no problem. Like you can take it like an added advantage, you can, but the base is Marine Stack development. You need to learn some development, right? So if you learn some development, then you can put your hands with the whatever you want. Like you want to learn something web3, augmented reality, robotics, you can go that's absolutely fine. We cannot say that it is going to be, because once it's get implemented, then it's going to be, that's it. Okay, fine. Okay, so this is going to be today's classes and inheritance. And the next thing what we're going to see, right now we have discussed a little bit more about classes, and but we're going to see one of the very easiest topic, that is going to be arrow function. Okay, so when it comes to programming language, not arrow function. So when it comes to programming language, I say that everything has its own updations. Like the form has been shared in the chat box, you can use that to fill. This is going to be the day one. Make sure that you are filling all the forms. Okay, fine. So then what is going to be arrow function? I say that like every programming language has its own updation, right? The same like that in JavaScript, function has its own updation. Like what is going to be a function? If I say function, and if I want to create something like change, and we can call it, and we can pass the parameter here, and we can access the argument inside it, and we can write whatever the code we need to write. Okay, so they are thinking like more code, right? Obviously not more code, but yeah, of course it is may cause us some error when we are working with the like this the programming language always focus on reducing the syntax. Okay, that is how the arrow function has been introduced. So by using the arrow functions, like for example, if I want to run a code, like an like something called as add. So I just going to say a comma b. Okay, so I need to say return c. Okay, like this, and before that I write the logic for c. I can say let c equal to plus a plus b, and here I can say console.log, what we can say add, and we can pause the 3,6. Then now what happened, we are evoking that function and we are passing the argument. It is get and go with some work, and it will store it in the c variable, and it is going to be return the c variable outside the function. So if I run this, you can notice it will get the answer. So this is going to be the function. The same thing, how we can use it by using arrow function. How can I do that? Means we can say const add something like this a comma b. and we can use the arrow, and we can say A plus B. Nothing. That's it. And if I copy this, comment this, paste it here, this, and if I run this, you can notice the same line, right? So the same thing, but the syntax is different. So what here it represent, we don't want to use the function. It is going to be parenthesis. So if you're passing more than one parameter, then you want to use the parenthesis. If you're passing only one parameter, then you don't want to do anything. Like you can pass something like this. Okay, that is going to be only one parameter. Then you can pass something like that. Okay, like that. Okay, so you can say, if you can console log it, you can see the 3 will be written. Okay, so this is going to be work when you pass only one parameter. If you want to pass more than one parameter, then you can notice it get error. So then you need to wrap this with parenthesis. That's it. And what this arrow and greater than sign, this is going to be representing the arrow function, like we are using the arrow function. And here whatever the code we written, it is going to be code going to execute. So here you need to notice that it's going to be a one line code, like something like A plus B. This is going to be a one line code. So here you don't want to use the curly braces, return keyword. No, we don't want to use, like we can directly give. But it is going to be some of block of code, like you are using some curly braces to write those code. Then what you need to do, then you need to say return. So if you don't say that, you can see, and like something will happen. So here you need to say return. It's very important. So when you are using this curly braces, why we are using, to run a block of code. So if you are running a block of code, like more than one line of code, then you want to use this curly braces and return keyword to get executed. So otherwise, I'm just running a single line code. Then what you can do is remove. You don't want to use the return, and you don't want to use that. The only thing is you need to use the parenthesis, and you need to use this. So simply I can say this is going to be the function, and this is going to be the function name, and this is going to be the code to execute. So previously, okay, so this is going to be so now if I say this is going to be the arrow function. That's it. Okay, so here parameter and code to execute. That's it. So if it comes to more than a line, then you need to use that with the old one. So here that is an important thing to note. Like, so this keyword, right? So using this, it's pretty confusing when you are working with arrow function. Okay, so we need to discuss first of all what is this, and why it is using, and how it performs with the object, how it performs with function, all right. So after that only we can say like why it is using this keyword in arrow function. It's going to be tough, especially when we are working with objects. I will tell that when we are discuss with the object. Okay, so right now just understand these two ES6 feature, like classes, inheritance, and arrow functions. Okay, this is going to be for today. And for tomorrow, what we're going to do, we're just going to learn about the scopes, and maybe the scopes and closes, and we discuss about the default functions, as how to create a default function, and some other ES6 concepts we have, like array methods like map, filter, reduce, something like that. We're going to discuss that, and we're going to cover all the things which have been listed previously in the agenda. Like if you don't know, like check that. Okay, check that in the description, it will be available that. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can ask for the next 2 minutes, it will be there, and you can do that. Okay, so the next thing, like, and one more thing, like the attendance form has been put it in the comment. Like if you want to use that, you can use it. So I can say like why the reason for giving attendance form, even though like you get a participation certificate. But okay, everyone can give a participation certificate. Not only for that giving a participation certificate, we are here to promote it in LinkedIn. Like if you go for the LinkedIn, you can see in the previous classes we have do the beginner to advanced JavaScript, right? So I promoted it in my LinkedIn. You can see I promoted the certificate people it in the LinkedIn, and also with the tagged peoples. Okay, so you fill the form, we will get the details like your LinkedIn profile, we ask for that a total, and if you do that, and we will tag you and we will give a post for you, and also our founder also giving post for you. I am very small in LinkedIn, but just think about that our founder has around 12K, I think 15K plus followers is here. So your profile, your LinkedIn profile get visibility. Okay, so that is the main reason we are here to do that. And also you also like taking the screenshot, putting it in the LinkedIn and tagging us. That also will be great, and you will get a great engagement with the team, and that makes your profile more visibility to other recruiters. Okay, so do that. Okay, so if you like to, if you really want a job, then just do it, because that is what LinkedIn is meant for. Like, you can use it and you can network with the recruiters, you can recruit with that, and we are here to promote you freely, right? No one will promote you free, right? So that is what TWD is doing. Just if you watch the video, we will promote your LinkedIn profile. And if a job recruiter or someone is watching that it matches with their your preference, then they will call you. Simple, right? So you can use that, use that wisely. LinkedIn, just take a screenshot, give your feedback in the LinkedIn, and if you tag me, I will be there and I will be comment to you. And also tag our TWD and Navid Biswasar, and he will be definitely comment you, and that will makes your post a huge viral, right? So if you want it, you can use that too. And tomorrow we see the rest of us. Okay, so see you for tomorrow. So don't forget to fill the attendance form. That is going to be a mandatory for all. Okay, see you guys.